Hello, fellas. So today I thought I should share with you the correct way of soldering wires. I mean, there are several ways of connecting wires with different kind of connectors, but I feel like the best way of connecting two wires is by soldering them. And soldering can be quite intimidating for many people, especially for the beginners who are coming into the field of DIY small projects related to electronics. But I can assure you that by the end of this video you will find soldering to be really simple, and by following these methods you will love to do it again and again. So before we proceed any further, I would love that you please subscribe to my channel, hit that bell icon so that you can be aware of the new stuff that is going to be uploaded on this channel, and it's just around the corner. So guys, let's get started. So guys, here what you see are ends of two wires, right here, this one, and this one. I mean, I've already peeled off the ends of the two wires with wire clipper. It's best to use wire clipper so that none of the wires are lost, or small pieces of wires are lost. And the equipment that we need is a soldering gun. This is basically a gun that has a soldering station as well, as that controls the temperature to which you can set. Right now it's set to 450. The best is that you set it to 350, around 350. Then you have this soldering gun, you need the soldering wire, and you also need maybe a wire wool if needed, if there is an excess of soldering, dripping from your soldering gun. So guys, let's get started. Okay guys, so here you see that I have held the two wires in crocodile clips. That's the best way, because you don't really want to hold the wires in your hand, because the heat that transfers from the soldering gun to the wires can be really hot, and it can be not very good for feeling. So you open up all the wires like a flower, engage the two sides, and then hold one side and then twist it like this so that it nicely entangles together. Okay. Okay, so here you see that the two wires are nicely clinched together. Now what you want to do is that bring your soldering gun and your soldering wire, heat up the wire, heat this the wire to be bonded with your soldering iron, and then start to wet your two wires with the two copper wires with your soldering gun and the solder. So be careful that you don't want to overdo this, because that will make this joint weaker and not stronger. That's the law of physics, that if you wet it too much, it's not going to be helpful. You just need the right amount of solder to hold the two wires. Okay, so this looks really nice. So guys, what I would do next is that I would use a shrink I would use a shrink tube to put it on the portion where the two wires are now joined. And the purpose of this shrink tube is basically that you put this on the point of connection and then heat it up with, normally, for example, a heating gun or a hot air gun. You could also use your wife's hair dryer, but be careful, don't let her know. Yep. And then you heat it up, like I said, and that's pretty much it. You can basically make this thing waterproof. When we talk about shrink tubes, we need to be careful that if you don't have access to the free end of the connection, then you really need to put the shrink tube in before soldering on at least one end of the wire, either this one or this one. Otherwise you won't be able to put that in afterwards, because you don't want to cut the shrink tube. And In this case it was just for teaching purposes, and I had the free ends of both the wires on the left and the right. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to heat this with a hot air gun. Okay, so I'm going to put the hot air gun right here. You may hear the sound. So guys, as you see, it's just this hot air gun that I've used. So as you see that this is now a very tight fit and waterproof as well. So if water by any chance touches this portion of the wire, it will not go into the connection and it would not short circuit for sure. So that's why I would really recommend that soldering is the better way of connecting wires. And some people also like to use electrical tapes and all that, but again, I don't recommend that because it's not waterproof. You could apply electrical tape on the top of this again as a secondary measure, but it's still a secondary measure. The primary measure should be that you need to have this shrink tubes. They're not very expensive, they're really cheap, and they're really awesome. You really need to get those as the wrap up part of your soldering wires. So guys, if you like what you see, please subscribe to my channel. There's a lot new stuff just around the corner. Hit that bell icon so that you can receive all the notifications, and as always, thumbs up.